September 10th, the champ is back in the UK once again. This time I'm fighting Michaela Mayer, y'all. And if y'all remember what I did to Terry Harper, Mayer getting the same dose of melatonin that night. So make sure y'all tune in. And shout out to all my UK fans. I love y'all. Much love. The bomb.
So over the weekend, Derek Chisora, who's regarded as a British veteran boxer, was in a rematch against Kubra Pulev. Last time we saw Kubra Pulev, I'm not sure, but this is the last time I saw Kubra Pulev, was his fight against Anthony Joshua, whereby he got knocked out and then suggested or said that he only lost because he had a bout of COVID or some shit like that, usual stuff. However, in regards to this fight, the build up to the fight and so on, I might have posted the poster once or twice and stuff, but I lacked enthusiasm for the fight. I didn't bother watch any videos in regards to the build up to the fight, any reviews, previews, nothing. Any interviews. I did see the face off. It was gimmicky, the same old stupid stuff that Derek Chisora does, the same old war hat that he wears. And I understand a lot of people who favor Derek Chisora, who still believe that somehow he's able to attract the audience. I don't get it. To be honest with you, here's the thing with Derek Chisora. I understand people might say, well, if he's still, as he says, still bringing the product, which for me is like, stretching it a bit. If he's still bringing the product and people still want the product, yeah, he doesn't need to retire. I would suggest anybody though who really does have who really values their entertainment, to fucking retire from watching Derek Chisora. He doesn't have to retire, but if you value your time, if you value your entertainment, if you're not just a beggar can be choosers type of guy who just gets whatever he's fed, you know what I'm saying, and has to declare that it's delicious, you know what I'm saying, if you're that type of person, if you're that kind of person who wants some quality rather than just quantity all the time, because what you're getting with Derek Chisora right now, to be honest with you, isn't necessarily quality. He might try to tell you that it's quality, but there's a war quality to it. It's bullshit. And even if that is the case, it's something you've seen over and over and over again. It doesn't get any better. It depreciates, as a matter of fact. It's like it's analogous to watching the same old movie over and over and over again and declaring that each and every time you're excited. Quite frankly, nothing new happens in it. The acting was never that great to begin with, but for some reason, there's some people tied into it because you consider it to be some sort of fucking ridiculously produced, sort of indie produced cult classic. It's garbage. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, I tell you what, there's something that these Americans say about the British boxing industry and British fans and so on and so forth. First, they give them praise. They say the British fans are the best. You know what I'm saying? They support their fighters out there, blah, 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 blah. Okay, which is true. And they can take credit for that, but they also sort of give British fighters this sort of backhanded comment, or you could call it a criticism, as a matter of fact, where they say, listen, all these British fighters aren't necessarily that good. The reason why they are sort of placed on the level of being elite is because they're sort of pushed up by these British fans and the support they have. And if one of these American fighters had gone over to Britain, if they were in Britain, that they would be just as big or so. I mean, that's a false equivalency, but it is what it is. And I'm against it, but however, when it comes to Derek Chisora, I could see how that argument could apply. Because Derek Chisora, at this moment in time, still has a following. He still has people who are willing to defend him to the death. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do anything beyond that. It's beyond what we've seen. If he brings nothing new, you know what I mean? The highlight of his fucking shows most of the time is what kind of antic he's gonna bring before the fight itself. But the fights themselves, they're not great. I mean, some of them you can consider them to be war and action-packed, but nothing to really remember as such. At this point in time, I dare not say, oh, Derek Chisora, retire. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? At the risk of offending people out there, I will say, yo, Derek Chisora, just fucking retire, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But let me just say this. I'm speaking for myself here. It's been a while now. I've lacked enthusiasm for this dude. I don't see what the fuck he brings that's fucking great anyway. You know what I'm saying? His claim to fame is he lost against Tyson Fury and, he's never been a world champion. I'm just at that point right now whereby you bring nothing new, and they keep on giving you opportunities, and you keep on, and it's kind of gone to his head too. He still feels like, yeah, I'm the shit. You can nigga, please. I don't blame him though, because you're gonna have people who lap it up and still follow him no matter what. But I don't feel like I've missed out on anything by not watching his fucking fight. I read about it on fucking Twitter, and that's enough for me. It was a split decision win. He still complains about money all the time. I don't understand. You shouldn't even be making this type of money if in a world whereby people are really being paid for the quality, not rather than the quantity of what they bring. You shouldn't be getting paid to the extent you're getting paid, but you're still getting opportunities out there. Apparently, the arena that they used was supposed to host about 20,000, and this is just something I read somewhere. I'm not sure. It was supposed to hold 20,000. They managed to squeeze in 7,000. There's a good chance that fight made a loss. And I'm sorry, I know that, you know, Derek Chisora gets a lot of respect, quite frankly, both in Britain and America, as a matter of fact. But I've just never been on his nuts like that. You know what I'm saying? I've just never been on Derek Chisora's nuts like that. I mean, fair enough. You know, I don't know, man. For real. He's been in some good fights. You know, he knocks out Takam, gets knocked out by Dillian White. I mean, I don't know how many losses he got now. He's got losses in double digits and he's got wins. Whatever, man. Whatever. But hey, people, hey, Del Boy. Since when a nigga be called Del Boy? Hey, man, for real. It is what it is, man. And then he comes in, he's got this stupid mask of Boris Johnson on. I don't know, man. The whole Derek Chisora thing has always been beyond me. I mean, fine, fair enough. Listen, I don't even think I've actually ever watched him train. You know, sometimes I like watching. You take certain things that you can take. There's nothing with this guy. Apart from that punch that he swings, which is a bit awkward. You know what I'm saying? Which you can't emulate anyway, and it's not necessarily been that successful. You know what I'm saying? If it was a unstoppable sledgehammer type of thing, then I'm fine. But for the most part, he throws it a lot. It's a very awkward type of punch. He throws it a lot, and a lot of times it misses. I think because people can predict it, but it looks effective. It looks very dangerous. And if anybody could do it, then fine. You could try and incorporate it or use it as some kind of training wheel. But it's just like, what's the fucking point? I'm sorry. What's the fucking point? Listen, anybody want to watch Derek Chisora? If you, it's like watching a rerun of a fucking indie, poorly produced movie. That's the way I see it. That's the only comparison I can make to watching Derek Chisora over and over again. I'm thinking you're getting some kind of entertainment from it. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's just me though. I think he should just step off and just let fresher people come on and give it, and you call it a day, bro. Call it a day for me. But you know what, man? There's gonna be people defending. Yeah, you can still like go out there and make the fucking bullshit, man. Go out there and start bringing people up, training people, and do stuff, and you know, share your knowledge. What the fuck is this? Oh yeah, I got kids in private school. What the fuck you been doing all this money all this time? You got a farm and everything. You still begging for money from a promoter? Have some fucking self-respect, man. It is what it is, man. That's what me. I would never say. And just in case you're wondering, yeah, I would never say it to Derek Chisora's face because he's a fucking lunatic. So let's talk about Frank Martin. But before we get there, let's look at Frank Martin's win against Jackson Martinez. And let's also point out the fact that Jackson Martinez took this fight with 9 days notice. Jackson Martinez, who just fought Frank Martin, who is associated, or well, I suppose we could state loosely promoted by Errol Spence on social media at least, beat Jackson Martinez, who is from the Dominican Republic, and gained some notoriety because he fought Rolly Romero, who was beaten by Tank Davis recently. However, you know, I wanted to talk about this at length, but not so much just about Frank Martin. And I'm going to be a bit negative about Frank Martin. I don't care about it. It might seem like, but you know, sometimes somebody's got to go in the opposite direction of the hype and be a doubting Thomas. I could prove to be wrong later, but I don't really care. You know, I see these guys and I just think it's all fucking fluff. And these guys are not good boxers to me. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see. I don't think, you know, I think they're kind of losing the art of boxing. And then you're going to have these kind of imitation types. And I'll talk about that at length as we go further with this video. But anyway, now Frank Martin is 16-0 with 12 KOs. And that sounds impressive. It looks impressive. It's almost as impressive as what you had with Ed Berlanga. People were quick to dump on Edgar Berlanga, weren't they? You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, he didn't help himself by biting somebody. That's fucking disgusting. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so let's talk about this guy by the name of Frank Martin. Frank Martin is going to be at 135, if I'm not mistaken, and he's just coming off a win against Jackson Martinez. Jackson Martinez is a guy who got notoriety because he beat Rolly Romero, but didn't get the decision. Rolly Romero therefore claimed to be the some kind of WBO champion at the time, and he was unapologetic about the win. But most people, the consensus out there at the time was that, as a matter of fact, Rolly Romero had lost that fight, but he was given a gift. So this guy, Jackson Martinez, gets in the ring with Frank Martin. Frank Martin, who has generated a bit of a buzz, not so much because I think people are paying attention to what he actually does in the ring, but because he's associated with one of their I don't know. Let me not be let me not sort of be abusive here. I am going to be a bit abusive, as a matter of fact, but not on this occasion, not at this very moment. He's one of the guys that they put up there. You know, Errol Spence. There's this movement behind Errol Spence. I've never really understood it, really. I think there's a certain sheep hide mentality behind this stuff, where people have just been convinced that that's the way they're supposed to go and that's the way it is. However, I say that for a particular reason, particularly when it comes to Frank Martin. So this guy, Jackson Martinez, goes in the ring with Frank Martin, and Frank Martin gets a win against him, stops him in the 10th round. You know what I mean? Even though people claim that it was difficult for Frank Martin, he still brings that pressure. And then subsequently, Errol Spence, who is associated with Frank Martin and acts like his promoter of some sort, starts tweeting out that he wants Frank Martin to fight Rolly Romero, which is okay. I understand that, because, you know, Frank Martin just beat this guy, Jackson Martinez. So what's next? Rolly Romero. And then he goes after Chris Kubra. Now, the Chris Kubra part is the one that really intrigues me a little bit, because we're talking 130, 135 here, aren't we? I think, you know what I mean? We're talking 130, 135. If I don't mean, you know, Chris Kubra came off a loss, which a lot of people wasn't expecting, and, you know, a lot of, because he criticized Deontay Wilder, you know what I'm saying? And he believed that, you know, he kind of predicted that, you know, Deontay Wilder was going to lose to Tyson Fury because Deontay Wilder was full of shit. So when he lost, you know, there were a lot of people thought, you know, that was some kind of black juju karma that came to visit upon, you know, Chris Kubra. There were some people who even, you know, went as far as to say that, you know, they want all manner of bad things to happen to him, but, you know, if the worst that happens is that he's a boxer and loses a fight, so be it. But I suppose Chris Kubra, one of the biggest fanboys of Deontay Wilder is also, of course, Errol Spence. So Errol Spence, he goes after Chris Kubra, and we'll get into that in a minute. But first, I wanted to talk about Frank Martin. First of all, I don't believe Frank Martin. I think he's a fucking bootleg. He's a fucking bootleg, Errol Spence. I didn't really watch much of him, but I just saw him on the mitts with Derek James, I believe. Forgive me, not Derek Jackson. Derek James, and I'm not impressed. I think his stance, the way he punches, everything mimics to a T Errol Spence. And Errol Spence isn't even that good of a boxer anyway. He just brings attrition and power. And here's the thing, here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker. This dude, Frank Martin, who they're all getting wet for and stuff, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, because, yeah, I mean, he's got not that much. It's kind of like a transference, of course, of popularity from Errol Spence onto Frank Martin. You know, it happens. Let's keep it a buck. You know, it happens with all these boxers. You know what I'm saying? Because you think that like attracts like, but that's never the case in boxing. That's, you know, it is what it is. A lot of times you have a person who influences a whole bunch of other people who can't really live up to, who don't really have all the fundamentals in place. You know, it happened with Floyd Mayweather, Adrian Broner, and the shoulder roll. It happened with Adrian Broner, who actually also wanted to influence somebody out of Cincinnati, and that one got knocked the fuck out. I forgot the name. That was a show that they had in Cincinnati. I'll never forget that. There was a guy who went in the ring and decided to actually mimic Adrian Broner with a wide stance, licking his lips and the movement, and he got knocked out. And Adrian Broner said, not everybody can be AB. So, you know what I mean? So you get that a lot. You understand? You get these fighters who are sort of made it a little bit, and then they sort of influence other people to be like them, and, you know, it's always like a bootleg version, and that's exactly what you're getting with Frank Martin right now, to be honest with you. Frank Martin's just a fucking bootleg Errol Spence. I don't think, to be honest, listen, here's the thing. Errol Spence then goes out there and starts fucking trolling Chris Kubra, calling him out, and, you know, all these Errol Spence nut huggers, all of a sudden they move away from Errol Spence, a great fighter, to Errol Spence, a great promoter. Oh, look at him. Oh, look how great he is at promoting. Look at how great he's going to be the best promoter in the... It is fucking sickening. It's fucking pathetic. These people, they just celebrate mediocrity. I saw it with Deontay Wilder, and now I see it with Errol Spence constantly. They just constantly celebrate mediocrity. It's fucking sad, because quite frankly, you could draw a linear line to this dude who they claim is a great promoter all of a sudden because he decided to troll a guy who lost his last fight and wants to take advantage of it for his fighter. And I'm guessing, and I hope, and that fight's it's not gonna get made, because Frank Martin, from what I can tell, he's not on the level of a Chris Kubra. I bet Chris Kubra's hoping, please give me that fight. But because Chris Kubra it's only because Chris Kubra lost his last fight, and even Rolly Romero lost his last fight. that this guy suddenly feels like, yeah, he wants to get them for for Frank Martin. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. And if you're that great of a promoter, how the fuck is it we've waited nearly 4 years, nearly 5 years for you to get in the ring with Terrence fucking Crawford? You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. Here's this guy all up in everybody else's business, trolling somebody for his fight, but you've been quiet for a very long time when it was you and Terrence Crawford. So, that's just my pet peeve with the matter. But here's the thing. I'm saying this. Should he decide to get in that fight won't even get made. He's just bullshitting. He's bullshitting. That guy, he fights, he's an imitation. He's not even original. So, for me, on all levels, Errol Spence is a bullshit artist. Why? Now he's promised all these people out there that fight's gonna get made 100%. Where haven't we heard that before? Haven't we heard that before? And these YouTubers especially, they still fall for the same old shit. Yeah, Errol Spence, it's gonna get made. Didn't he say that the last time? How long? Didn't he say that even before Terrence Crawford got the WBO belt? You know what I mean? But he's got a very, very vocal group of people out there who kind of scare the little fucking minions into line for some reason. And they all listen. If you are a promoter, all of a sudden, man down promotions, you got one fighter, you're going out there, you're fucking harassing people on Twitter, which is the new thing nowadays, of course. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck you didn't do that for Terrence Crawford? And suddenly you're quiet. Oh, he's gonna get made. Suddenly, you can't really be that specific when it comes to Terrence Crawford, but you're that specific when it comes to Chris Kubra. You see how these motherfuckers operate? Man, I don't like that type of shit, man. Be consistent. Listen, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you are leading, lead by fucking example. That's all I'm saying. So I don't think that fight's gonna get done. It is what it is.